coming up on the February 25th edition of Carolina Week. Snowy conditions have caused havoc and led to class cancellations. With more snow on the way tonight, what will the university do to maintain student safety?
One UNC coach is speaking out in defense of his son, who he believes has been wrongly accused of sexual assault.
Is tanning a smart idea? After all, spring break is almost here. All that and more.
Carolina Week starts right now.
From the UNC School of Journalism and Mass Communication, covering Carolina in HD, this is Carolina Week.
It's as if we've had our whole winter in the span of a week. Good evening, I'm Susanna Black.
And I'm Elizabeth Hugh. Thanks for joining us. Temperatures are near zero. 2 shots of winter precipitation already and lots more to come. Let's go live to reporter Jacqueline Matter, standing by outside South Building with a look back and a look ahead. Right, Jackie?
Elizabeth, the good news is that most of the snow has melted since yesterday. The bad news, up to 12 inches will be coming down within the next few hours. I took a look back at social media over the past 24 hours to see what exactly has been happening campus-wide. Chapel Hill woke up Tuesday morning to a snowy surprise that quickly turned into slippery roads and dangerous conditions. Drivers lost control, running off the road and sliding into ditches. One driver even flipped his car off the side of Farrington Road. The town of Chapel Hill urged residents to stay inside and off the roads. But the university remained silent until 9:32 a.m. when officials posted this message saying a winter advisory would be in effect until 10 p.m. This was not acceptable to some students, who then took to social media to express their concerns. On the Facebook page Overheard at UNC, photos showed the toll the weather had taken on campus. Students were slipping on their way to class, and one student even had to be taken on a stretcher out of Swain Hall. The trending hashtag Where's Carol made its way around campus, showing a picture of her vacant parking spot outside of South Building. Folt responded, tweeting, "In California to speak at a national conference on sexual assault." While we prepare for another snowstorm tonight, the newest update tells us that classes will be canceled tomorrow until noon. Thanks. I have Provost Jim Dean here with me. So, Provost Dean, many students ask why it takes so long to make the call. How do you guys decide that?
Well, we have a bunch of people on the phone. We have the chief of police. We have usually Winston Chris, vice chancellor for student affairs, sometimes me, other people in the chancellor's office. And the chief of police consults with Chapel Hill Transit. He has people who look at the roads all around the area to try and decide whether they're passable or not. And then we all get together and try and decide what to do.
Right. Okay. So this will be our third snow day that we've missed this far. What do you perceive to be the outcome from here for the schools making up any missed days?
Well, it's really unfortunate. It's very difficult to make up the missed days, as you know, because we have very little degrees of freedom in the whole thing. Faculty try to make them up as well as they can. Students try to make it up as well as you can, but it's very tough to do it. And this is pretty unusual for us.
So if you don't mind me asking, what took so long to make the call yesterday?
I have to confess I wasn't in the loop on the call yesterday, but I think it was because it started in the morning and the forecast was it was going to end any time, and then it just kept going.
Right. Well, thank you. That was Provost Jim Dean. So the snow is hard to predict, but who knows what will come from coming out. Back to you, Elizabeth.
Jackie Matter, live outside South Building, waiting for the 3rd snowfall of the past week. Thanks, Jackie.
Pay for health care for yourself or for your children. That's a choice some UNC professors say they have to make because they aren't paid enough. And they asked UNC students to speak on their behalf on campus today. Students and professors gathered
2 classes per semester on as many as 5 days a week. I've never received a living wage, health care, maternity leave, or retirement benefits.
Students and professors gathered at the steps of Wilson Library today to protest low wages for adjunct and non-tenured professors. Some professors chose to speak out at the event, but many asked students to share their testimonies anonymously, worrying they'll lose their jobs if they protest publicly. Today is the National Day of Action for adjunct and non-tenured track professors, and that prompted the event.
UNC is currently under federal investigation for Title IX violations related to sexual assault reporting, and up to 25% of these cases end up being false claims. Some say this needs to change so that no one is judged guilty before getting a fair trial. UNC wrestling coach C.D. Mock is used to fighting his battles on the mat.
His head's down, Gringos, attack!
But when a young woman accused his son of sexual assault last year, Mock took his battle to the campus of the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga.
I'm just a father who is trying to clear his son's name because I believe he's innocent of this accusation.
Mock believes the system is broken.
I'm simply suggesting that right now it's not fair to the accused. Is someone being deemed guilty before any kind of trial fair? If you believe it is, well, then you go against the Constitution, but you'll certainly not agree with me.
From the Rolling Stone article on the discredited rape case at UVA to the Columbia rape case. In the past 18 months, the issue of false allegations on college campuses has received greater attention. These allegations can have tragic consequences for the men wrongly accused, as Allison Strange knows all too well.
I still wake up feeling like I can't breathe.
Strange is the vice president of Families Advocating for Campus Equality in South Carolina, a group that advocates for men wrongly accused. Her son was falsely accused of sexually assaulting a student in 2011 at Auburn University.
It is an automatic assumption that the young lady or the young man, whoever the accusing student is, that it's almost a question of who would lie about that. Oh, I'm here to tell you, there are a lot of people out there that would lie about it.
Mock compares this experience to
sitting in a room where there's a glass wall and watching your child being tortured in the other room and not being able to do anything about it.
Mock's son is waiting for officials to hear his appeal against UTC. Last month, they allowed him back on campus to finish his classes for the semester.
There's been an update with the Mary Willingham lawsuit against the university. The former UNC literacy specialist and the university have reached a settlement. Willingham says she received backlash from the school after speaking out about student athletes not receiving the education they deserved. In the suit, she sought to be reinstated at UNC, but says that isn't a part of the settlement. She'll only be compensated monetarily. Neither she nor the university have told us what that amount is.
Some students say Saunders Hall stands for more than prominent figure. It stands for white supremacy, and they want to see a change. Reporter Sarah Rutherford has the story.
Charity Lackey is a sophomore organizer for the Real Silent Sam movement. She says she's shocked UNC hasn't changed the name of the building behind her, Saunders Hall.
It's unfathomable to me. It's like you're saying that we welcome this type of behavior on our campus, and the fact that the building is still named after him is saying we still welcome this attitude.
She's talking about William L. Saunders, a prominent leader in the state and also a chief organizer of the Ku Klux Klan just after the Civil War. That's why they're calling on the Board of Trustees to change the name of Saunders to Hurston Hall after poet Zora Neale Hurston, the first black student to attend UNC. Not everyone agrees. Senior class vice president Alexis White.
It's not the building in and of itself. It's the reality that minorities don't feel seen, their experiences don't feel validated, and they don't feel like they matter at this university.
Faced with a similar decision, Duke changed the name of Aycock Dorm to East Residence Hall last year. The Board of Trustees will meet in March to discuss renaming, or what's being called contextualizing, Saunders Hall. Until then, Lackey promises more of this.
UNC calls for Hurston Hall! UNC calls for Hurston Hall!
There will be things happening that we're going to keep reminding people that Saunders Hall should no longer exist on this campus.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Sarah Rutherford reporting.
The Board of Trustees report on Saunders will come almost a year after members first met with students. The BOT says it needs to find the time to find a comprehensive solution, which will also include the Confederate statue, Silent Sam. College happens only once.
A new mobile app promises to help you experience all UNC has to offer.
Participate in a live reenactment of Clue in Wilson Library. High five Roy Williams. These are just two of the 100 tasks on the must-do UNC bucket list. But how can you stay on track with it all? Now there's an app for that. Ashley Perry has the story.
Mary Frances Boyer wanted to make the most of her senior year. I really like to take advantage of all the opportunities around me. So I was thinking to myself, how can I make sure that this all gets done?
Her solution? Creating the UNC Bucket List mobile app, an app comprised of 100 quintessential Carolina tasks for students to keep track of during their time at UNC. But it doesn't stop there.
For each task that users accomplish, they're presented with the opportunity to donate to the senior campaign.
The senior campaign is student-driven and allows seniors to give back to the university in areas of their choosing. And it's through completing each task and giving back that Boyer landed on the app's slogan: play it forward, then pay it forward.
You're having this wonderful experience, but you also want to make sure that the future students of UNC can continue to have the same experiences, if not better.
And it's making these experiences accessible for others that Boyer sees as her biggest accomplishment.
It makes me so happy to see that people around me are taking advantage of all the resources around them. And so when they leave Chapel Hill, they won't have any regrets.
And with a bucket list full of diverse opportunities, regret seems unlikely for Boyer and the students here at UNC. In Chapel Hill, Ashley Perry reporting.
You can register for the UNC Bucket List app by going to www.uncbucketlist.com on your smartphone or computer.
Believe it or not, spring break is less than 2 weeks away. Want to work on your tan? Not a problem. Many apartment complexes in Chapel Hill offer indoor tanning as an amenity. One UNC junior is petitioning apartments to stop offering them. Our Jordan Black has the story.
Alana Zitani used tanning beds regularly in middle and high school. As a cheerleader, she associated tanning with beauty, until her sister, a dermatology student at UNC, urged Alana to quit.
It really impressed the importance of it upon me.
Now, she's going further. Zitani is petitioning the town of Chapel Hill, demanding that apartment complexes be prohibited from offering tanning devices.
I think educating people on the dangers is the best way to go about it, especially in a community like UNC.
Dangers that Dr. Craig Burkhart says are irreversible.
It's been shown that even one exposure to indoor tanning beds increases risk for skin cancer, including melanoma.
Melanomas kill one person every hour in the United States. 59% of college students say they have used a tanning bed. That would be 10,000 UNC students. But is a ban the best way to go? City and regional planning graduate student John Anagnost doesn't think so.
I wouldn't say it's not risky to tan, but is it the type of threat that ought to be addressed by that type of action? And to me, the answer is no.
Maybe, but Zitani at least wants to raise public awareness about what she calls the burning truth about tanning beds. In Chapel Hill, I'm Jordan Black reporting.
The town council has formed a committee to consider an apartment tanning ban.
Southern Village Pediatric Dentistry and the Kidzu Children's Museum are teaming up to promote healthy smiles. This weekend, dentistry staff gave children toothbrushing instruction, dental goodie bags, and provided painting activities. But there weren't any paintbrushes for this activity. Instead, toothbrushes. The dentistry staff answered parents' questions about taking care of their children's teeth and used a tooth puppet to demonstrate proper brushing techniques.
The correct dose matters when treating cancer with powerful chemotherapy. A group of recent UNC grads has developed a new device to improve dose accuracy. Shawnee Alston reports.
Technicians at the UNC Cancer Hospital prepare more than 150 chemotherapy doses a day. Clinical pharmacist Meredith Kiesler says workers double-check doses for accuracy.
They have very strict guidelines on how they prepare these medications. They are prepared in a sterile environment.
A recent study at the UNC Cancer Hospital found many small differences between the prescribed chemotherapy dose and the dose patients receive. Kiesler says patients can tolerate small discrepancies, but
if they're getting too much of the dose, then that could lead to more toxicity. If they're not getting enough dose, then they may not have as much efficacy with the drug.
Technicians use tick marks on the syringe to draw the exact dose. But 4 UNC students who graduated in 2014 found a better way. Co-inventor Jorge Martinez Blatt says their prototype device, the volumetric, works by measuring the volume of the dose.
It does this by measuring how far the plunger head gets pulled back. Once the syringe is inserted into the device and you pull back on the plunger head, the little screen will tell you exactly how much will be expelled at the end.
The volumetric device also accounts for small amounts of medication that might not transfer between syringe and patient.
In that pathway, there's dead space, and as such, residue will get caught up in there.
The team continues to refine the volumetric for clinical use. In Chapel Hill, I'm Shani Alston, reporting.
The team is working to expand use of the volumetric into other areas of chemotherapy, such as pediatrics or veterinary medicine. Yesterday's snowfall is melting away.
But walkways are still slippery with ice. How much more can we expect tonight? Drew Day has our forecast next.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm Drew Day. Thanks for staying with us. We'll start with your forecast with a look at the radar across the southeastern part of the country, and you'll see this area of rain to the southwest. That is the system that we are watching to bring us some snow later this evening and into tomorrow morning. It is already approaching the North Carolina-South Carolina line, and so we'll be moving into the area, and we'll start to see precipitation falling in Chapel Hill by 7 p.m. tonight, and it will continue into tomorrow morning. The satellite, we had plenty of sunshine earlier this morning, but you see the clouds streaming up from the southwest. That storm system is moving into the state, again with precipitation beginning around 7 p.m. this evening. We had a little bit of sunshine out there earlier this morning. That allowed temperatures to warm up into the upper 40s, which is really one of the problems with this type of scenario, in that we got so warm today. How much snow will actually accumulate remains a challenge to figure out at this point. So there is uncertainty still at this hour, even with the snow expected to begin to fall later this evening. But the National Weather Service has issued a winter storm warning for all the counties you see highlighted here for the result or the possibility of snow later this evening. It is in effect until noon on Thursday, with accumulating snowfall anywhere from 4 to 8 inches. The system will start as rain to begin and then switch over to the snow, which would accumulate in these amounts, and then you would see a glaze of some freezing rain later on this evening. And a winter weather advisory is in effect for the southern counties, and that is also until noon, with 1 to 3 inches possible tomorrow in these locations here. So lighter amounts to the south, higher to the north, and again ending as some freezing rain and potentially putting a little bit of glaze on the roadways and other surfaces. We do not expect it to be more than 1/4 of an inch. We really don't expect it to be more than 1/10 of an inch in most locations, and so we do not expect this to be enough to cause any power outages. This will be a mainly snow event. We'll quickly take a look at the probabilities here to help you better figure out what's the most probable solution for tomorrow. Again, risk remains in this being really not a big event, so we're still uncertain. But the probability of an inch is in the 90% range, which is this red color here. So we're looking at least an inch tomorrow. When you bump that up to 2 inches, we're still in the 90% probability for much of the area. When we up that threshold to 4 inches, we are still in the 90 to 80% range. So 4 inches seems very likely. By 8 inches, the probabilities start to go down a bit. So it looks like 8 inches is probably going to be in isolated locations, and then 12 inches, it's really low. So we're looking anywhere from 4 to 6 inches of snow tomorrow, and for many locations, and again localized up to 8 inches. 29 will be the overnight low tonight. By tomorrow morning, 30 degrees. 35 is as warm as we're getting tomorrow, and then we'll be back down below freezing tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures will stay in the 30s right on through the next several days, and so it will be cold, so the snow that we do see will stick around for several days here.
You know, Drew, I am glad to hear that it's going to be mostly snow, because I have literally slipped on the ice about 10 times the past few days, and I'm tired of it.
Yes, the roads are going to be dangerous out there tomorrow. They are going to be snow covered. Don't plan on going anywhere tomorrow.
All right, great advice. Thank you, Drew.
All right, you're welcome.
The men's basketball team is on the verge of setting a record
that no one is going to be proud of. Andrew Stern is next with sports.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm Andrew Stern with sports. During Black History Month, the UNC Athletics Department honors individuals who found success in their careers at Chapel Hill and beyond. The program is Tar Heel Trailblazers, and our AJ Nwoko caught up with one of the recipients of this prestigious award.
UNC alum Charles Waddell has had many titles and received many honors since he left UNC, and now he can add one more as one of this year's Tar Heel Trailblazers. And Waddell says this award transcends even him.
It means a lot, as much for the people who preceded me than for me.
Waddell says he has always been great at sports and knew he wanted to continue his success through college.
I had success in 3 sports in high school. I was all-state in all 3 sports. And that was something that I wanted to do.
Waddell's success at UNC started with the football team here at Kenan Stadium, and then with the basketball team here at the Dean Dome, and again as a thrower with the track and field team. But Waddell found his 4th home here at the B School, where he earned his MBA and moved on to a career with a different kind of competition.
In investment banking, 60% winning percentage is very, very good. It's exceptional. But the 40% losing, it just wore me down.
So worn down that Waddell returned to the career that brought him so much success as an athletics director at South Carolina.
But being back in athletics is really, where I wanted to be all the time.
And UNC student coach Gerard James is blown away by Waddell's success.
To listen to everything that he said and find something there to apply to my life, I mean, you can't put a price on that.
And Waddell plans to keep up the pace.
You just keep on competing. When you stop advancing, you're losing ground.
And this successful trailblazer is sure to find more ground to cover. In Chapel Hill, I'm AJ Nwoke reporting.
What an amazing figure. I mean, this guy played in the NFL, was an investment banker for Bank of America, and more. But he says the most important thing for him was the relationships he made while at UNC. It was a different story last night when we took on little brother from down I-40 in the Dean Dome. Coach Williams has never lost at home to the Wolfpack, but it was to be a mistake-laden evening for the Tar Heels. Ramses might have been strutting his stuff, but Bryce Johnson couldn't hit the broadside of a barn early, tossing up brick after brick after brick. Roy looked none too pleased. Maybe Kennedy Meeks would pick up the slack. Nope. Yeah, still nope. And then there were costly turnovers, like on this miscommunication between Marcus and JP, or on this Joel Berry pass seemingly to the referee. And then there was lazy defense, leaving a knockdown shooter wide open in the corner for the easy 3. But it wasn't all bad. The Heels made a furious comeback to start the second half, keyed by fast break opportunities like this one here. Or the no-look pass to Isaiah Hicks for the slam. Boom, baby. Or there were beautiful hustle plays like Marcus Page laying out for the one-touch assist to Justin Jackson with the layup. Let's take a look at that one again. Marcus dives to the loose ball, getting it to JJ for the 2. The crowd was loving that. But in the end, UNC couldn't get over the hump, continued to be out-muscled down low, and the Heels fell to the Wolfpack by a score of 58-46. With that loss, the Heels are closing in on a record nobody wants to be a part of, and that's 3 double-digit loss seasons in a row for the first time in program history. With road games against Miami and Georgia Tech and the big home showdown against Duke looming, that record may unfortunately be ours.
Andrew, with that ugly loss last night, I mean, that's not the first one of the season. Do you think we have a shot of winning out?
I think that we have the athleticism and the talent to do it, but if we have another lackluster effort and have a performance with that little focus again, there's no way it's going to happen.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew. A new television program created by UNC students is hitting the airwaves.
It brings the laughs of a late-night talk show to Chapel Hill.
It's no secret the university has faced hard times in the past few months. Now a group of students is helping inject laughter back into Carolina. Nikki Mandel has the story of UNC's very own late night talk show.
Here he is, Jimmy Fallon!
There's a new name in late night television.
Jay Putnam!
A crowd of almost 100 students came to Swain Studio 6 to watch UNC's new late-night talk show. Putnam made the move from a regular communications major to the man behind the desk with a little help from his friends.
And they said, they're like, Jay, we have this idea. We think it'd be a lot of fun. We want to make a late night show on campus.
That's Kevin Spellman, executive producer, and to his right, Miles Bonsignor, head writer and director. The trio worked on the project for 2 years, and finally, Good Night with Jay Putnam got the green light.
I think the first step was brainstorming what exactly we wanted this to look like. For me, that meant building up a team.
Leading the writing team is Bonsignor. He's been friends with Putnam since freshman year and knows just how to write for his comedic voice.
The president of the Interfraternity Council of Greek Life responded with a statement saying, "There must be a mistake. There are no left-wingers in our chapters."
It's somebody who's like very charming, very, very lovely, but also like has a little biting edge to him.
The combo struck a chord with UNC audiences, especially online viewers.
And now I think the last time I checked, we were at like 9,600, which was that we were like, wow, that's nuts.
Putnam loves that his fans watch from home. That way they can really tuck in and turn up. In Chapel Hill, I'm Nikki Mandel reporting.
Have you had a chance to see the new show?
I have, and I have to say that we have a lot of really talented students here at UNC.
I like to think we're not too shabby. That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching. Have a good night.